It started with a pair of headlights in my mirror. I thought it was just another late-night traveler, until I realized, no matter how fast I drove, no matter which turn I took, they never got closer, but they never disappeared. I've done a lot of long solo drives for work. I enjoy the quiet, the open roads, the feeling of being alone with my thoughts. But after what happened last summer, I don't drive at night anymore. It started on a stretch of empty highway in the middle of nowhere. I had been driving for hours trying to make it to my motel before midnight. The GPS had me taking a back route, one of those endless two-lane highways where you don't see another car for miles. Just flat land, the occasional tree, and nothing else. Then in my rearview mirror, headlights. A car appeared behind me maybe half a mile back. No big deal, but something about it felt wrong. It stayed at the exact same distance for the next 15 minutes. Never gaining, never falling behind. I sped up. The headlights matched my speed. I slowed down. It slowed too. My stomach twisted. It wasn't a coincidence. They were following me. I told myself I was being paranoid. Maybe they were just heading the same way. But when I passed the only gas station for miles, I had a bad feeling. I decided to test them. I flicked on my turn signal. The second I did, their turn signal came on too. A rush of cold panic shot through me. I turned onto a smaller road. So did they. I turned again. They followed. This wasn't random. Someone was tailing me. I checked my phone. No service. I gripped the wheel tighter, my mind racing. Who the hell were they? What did they want? The road ahead was empty, just miles of darkness. No houses, no signs, no exits. Then, my gas light blinked on. I'd been so focused on the drive I hadn't noticed. I was running on fumes. My only choice was a rest stop a few miles ahead. One of those old, abandoned-looking ones with flickering lights and a single vending machine. I pulled in fast and parked close to the entrance. The car behind me kept driving. I let out a breath of relief. Maybe I was wrong. But then, they turned around and pulled in behind me. Every instinct screamed run. I forced myself to stay calm. I got out slowly, pretending not to notice them. The gas station was closed, but there was a single bathroom stall outside. I stepped inside and locked the door. Silence. I pressed my ear against the door. I could hear footsteps outside, slow, deliberate. A knock. 3 taps. I didn't move. Another knock. Louder. Then a voice. "Hey, you okay in there?" I stayed quiet. My heart pounded in my ears. The voice got closer. "Saw your car. Thought you might need some help." Bullshit. Why would a stranger follow me for miles just to help? I stayed silent. Then the handle rattled. He was trying to open the door. I clenched my fists, bracing myself. Then silence. I held my breath. Soft scraping sounds started near the bottom of the door. He was sliding something underneath. I looked down. A piece of paper. Scrawled in shaky handwriting were 4 words. "I know you're alone." A wave of nausea hit me. Then in the distance, a car engine. Headlights swept across the parking lot. Another car had pulled in. A second later, the footsteps outside me rushed away. I waited for a while. Finally, I opened the door just a crack. The other car was still there. A guy in his 50s was stepping out, looking at me, concerned. "You all right?" he asked. I stumbled forward, my body trembling. I tried to explain, but I was too shaken. He nodded and told me to follow him back to town. I never saw the man who followed me again. I don't know what would have happened if the second car hadn't pulled in when it did. But I know one thing. He wasn't trying to rob me. He didn't want my car. He wanted me. And I was exactly where he wanted me to be. Alone. On an empty road. With nowhere to run.